Hi, my name is Michael Hicks, and I have chosen Curtis Wright for my company for this module. And in this discussion board forum, we are discussing marketing. Curtis Wright's customer base is large. They supply the military with advanced technology for land, air, and sea assets. Um, as far as the nuclear reactors on submarines and aircraft carriers, those are all the parts are serviced with Curtis Wright materials. They also do shot peening and laser peening, um, which is they're able to produce aerodynamic shapes more cost efficiently and easier than traditional methods. Um, they do engineered coatings, which help reduce the fatigue and stress on airframes, and they also do metallurgical analyses for the commercial aviation industry. As far as the market orientation for Curtis Wright goes, they are market oriented, um, and as the book shows, it's running the entire business with a focus on the customer. Uh, Curtis Wright recognizes that without their customer base, the products that they're producing are useless, and they also have to keep an eye on the FAA in particular, because while they are not a direct customer, they affect the outcome. Because if the FAA changes a regulation and the product that Curtis Wright is supplying no longer adheres to that regulation, that product can no longer be sold. So not only are they losing money because they can't sell it, they're losing even more because there's nothing they can do with it because it is now an obsolete piece of equipment. According to the 10K, COVID had and is still having an impact on the company. This is in part to partial breakdowns in the supply chain, workforce shortages, and the increased prices of raw materials. And also currency exchange rates. Wouldn't really think about that, but that is a potential risk factor for them. Since the company has facilities in multiple countries, whatever country that facility is in, that is the currency that they do business with. So if the currencies rise or fall, that could either help or hurt when it comes to income. And the Russia-Ukraine conflict, now it hasn't affected them yet, but it is also a possibility. Um, since Curtis Wright is based in the U.S., they're bound by U.S. laws, and if there are any sanctions or trade restrictions imposed by the U.S., Curtis Wright has to abide by them. Uh, Now that's the same for any company. However, Curtis Wright also has one facility in Poland, and since Poland borders Ukraine, they're the closest facility that Curtis Wright has that could be potentially affected by the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The company's focus is largely on defense and aerospace, but they have also diversified into the power and industrial markets. As you can see with the numbers here, the vast majority, 66% of the net sales of 2022 were gathered by aerospace and defense, which leaves the remaining amount to be made up by the commercial, such as power and industrial. They offer both products and services. Mostly they offer products like valves, solenoids, embedded computer equipment, defense software, but they are also contracted by the Navy to do all the repairs on the nuclear power plants in the subs and aircraft carriers. And they have also formed a working partnership with Airbus and Boeing for the shot peening and laser peening of the wings. Now that not only improves the fatigue life of the airframe and turbine components, but it also greatly reduces the cost of the aerodynamic shapes required for the wings on all Airbus aircraft, and some wing sections on the 787 Dreamliner. Now, while Boeing is working with Curtiss-Wright, they do still compete against each other. Uh, Not necessarily in the same market that Curtiss-Wright is providing for them, but they do compete in the aerospace defense market. Um, Now, these aren't the only companies that are competing with Curtiss-Wright. There is an absolute laundry list of them, but these are the companies that were the most prominent in the lists. For aerospace and defense, of course, it's Boeing. They also compete with Lockheed Martin, Aerojet Rocketdyne Holdings, and BAE Systems. With industrial and power markets, they are competing with Moog. And then for both aerospace and defense and industrial, they are competing with Magellan Aerospace.